Perfect. So welcome. As we are awaiting people to join, we're going to go ahead and start recording and start our slide deck first. And so today's topic for day one is embracing the healer within you. And this is a 3-day course, and it's really just to be able to introduce 3 different healers as our guest speakers to share their story about how they embrace the healer within themselves. And so it's really kind of just helping out anybody who has that question, like, how do I go about my gifts? I don't know how to use this. I'm just a person that works at a bank and has this gift. How do I embrace that, or how do I use that? And you'll be surprised how it can be embraced, and used in different formats. There's so many people that are starting to really tap into their healing gifts and making a business out of it, or just evolving and growing and deciding to leave their career for so many years and realizing that, now's the time to switch over and embrace their healing gifts.
And again, we're not telling you to, drop everything that you got.
And no.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, pay your bills.
We're just reminding you to embrace who you are, what your natural talents are, and possibly give you ideas through the stories of our guest speakers or stories that we heard from other events. We'll bring them forth to you to hopefully give you an idea how to embrace that healer within you and probably integrate it to your current lifestyle, whether you're a stay-at-home mom, a new entrepreneur trying to build a business, or a leader in a company, whatever the case may be for you. We just want you to kind of acknowledge that healer within you.
Oh, there you are.
There you guys are.
There you go. What was the last part you heard? Because I don't know when it froze.
You saying embrace the healer within, and it was like you were finishing the clarity statement.
Okay. So, are you gonna introduce our guest speaker yet? Why you mute yourself?
Technology.
Yeah, I'm asking you, Rebecca, why you mute yourself?
I didn't do that, sorry. I'm trying to figure out what is it doing. There we go. Hello. Okay, hold on. Let me share screen again. We had a little glitch. It froze. There we go. Perfect. So back on track. Where did it freeze at?
After I give the clarity what we mean by embracing the healer within.
Okay. So now I'm just going to give a quick introduction. My name is Rebecca Grace Arson, my husband.
JB Atkins, and we're holistic wellness consultants.
Yeah. So what does that mean? And this is something that we talked about last night in our live in our homepage. We are licensed massage therapists, but JB and I started working together when my sister was diagnosed with ovarian cancer. And then that's when we discovered and embraced the new healing techniques, gifts that we were not aware of, that by working together, we were able to make a huge difference for my sister. And then that's when we knew that we needed to work together and build upon this new concept of holistic wellness consultants. So not only do we do massage therapy, body work, we also do a lot of energy work. My husband channels, I get messages, I'm an empath, I'm feeling where the pain is, what's going on. We start questioning our clients to give them that awareness of where the blockages are and how to release them and have that flow going again. And so it's evolved into something bigger than just massage therapy. So that's why we call ourselves holistic wellness consultants, because we help our clients figure out what's the best route for their care to have a pain-free life, to get back to their lifestyle, to acknowledge and become aware of what keeps coming back, that pattern, how to break it. So it's been a very interesting journey, and especially I have to thank my sister for that, because if it wasn't for her, and we wouldn't be working together, and we wouldn't have discovered all this new healing techniques. So we do four-handed body work, and as we're doing body work, it's like peeling away the onion within you. We're just taking those layers away little by little. But with our four-handeds, he's taking some layers away, I'm taking layers away, so it feels more like double the work in less time. And a lot of our clients are grateful for that, because they get back to their lifestyle much quicker than a longer journey. And sometimes I always say, don't just resort to us. Find a great acupuncturist, do this, do other things to really get you back to your lifestyle. And the clients that listen to that suggestion, they're like back in their lifestyle, like within 3 sessions. They're like back, they feel great. They're back work exercising without pain. And so it's being able to give that result to clients is what really satisfies us and gives us that good feeling within ourselves that we've done our job.
And that's just one thing that our clients really love. The other thing is that we do our best to kind of show them how to do that, whatever technique that we're called to show or share in that session with them, so that they could prolong their session. Where other, say, organizations might, I got to see you once or twice a week. Now, we want to see you as little as possible, as long as you're benefiting from the tools we share with you, so that you could continue being self-sufficient, so you can rely on yourself and your own healer within you.
Mm-hmm. That's another thing we do. We teach our clients how to continue that healing journey within themselves, because they have that divine, we all have that divine power. We all have this beautiful organism that knows how to heal. When you fall and you get that cut, you see it. You see the process happening before you. It starts oozing, you have to clean it off, you have to let it air dry. So then that way the scab, and then once that scab forms, then it slowly goes away and you're back, your skin is back. So it's amazing that we can actually see the healing process whenever we get cuts. And that's how magnificent our body is within ourselves, that it has that gift to be able to do that self-healing. So it's really important to embrace that. And so now, let me click here. There we go. So recognizing your gifts is the first thing we're going to talk about. And that's what we did. What is your gift? Is it sound bowls? Is it crystals? Is it body work? Is it energy work? Is it channeling? Is it mediumship? Is it being a psychic? Is it being able to talk to animals? There's so many, and it's growing. We are evolving as we are becoming more and more aware of our gifts, channelers. It's very impressive to see how we're evolving and transitioning and shifting, especially with all new things coming about in our world and the changes that are occurring. We also are evolving. So recognizing your gifts, what is it?
Even alone with the physical massage industry itself, there's about 240 different types of modalities, 240 of touch, or combination with, depending on the technique itself and how to kind of address the body. So if that's just massage, imagine each other gift. But what is yours?
Yes. So recognizing your gifts, do you find yourself helping others? Do you find peace within yourself when you're in nature? Do you find yourself being sensitive sometimes, like you just feel overwhelmed, and or when you're in gatherings with family or friends, do you find yourself getting really sensitive all of a sudden? Do you find yourself knowing what to do in certain situations? Sometimes those are our cues there, where we just know what to do, but we're not even trained in that area, but we know what to do in certain situations. Do you experiencing do you experience having symptoms of others? That's something I was recognizing, where I thought I was starting to get sick, but with time I realized, as I was doing my massage work, that I was actually having their symptoms. It wasn't me. And that's when I started really embracing my gift of having that knowledge to know exactly where to massage them. And a lot of clients till this day, they're like, how do you do that? How do you know that's where my pain was when I didn't even tell you? Or how did you know? Or I'll bring up old pains that they had during the week that they forgot about. And it's like, how did you know I was in pain in that area? You just reminded me I was in so much pain in that hip area last week. And here you are massaging it. And so it's just being able to experience those symptoms where I'm like feeling, I'll be massaging and all of a sudden I'm feeling certain body aches or headaches or nausea or a sensation of being sick, and that's when I realize it's not me, it's them. And so I always have this little saying that I say, thank you, body, for making me aware, but it's time for me to detach. I got the knowledge I needed. Now I need to detach, because I also don't want to carry that on, which I used to, which was not good either.
Like a way that we found peace was, for me, I kind of more drawn to the forest or the hike. Rebecca's more drawn towards the ocean and the beach. And then, of course, even recently being vulnerable with you guys, for some reason, I just had a sensation just never really engaged with my grandmother and that family and my biological father, but I couldn't say what was it. And then unfortunately, my mom she wanted to experience or wanted to hear the answer. She got yelled at. She's like pretty much the black sheep. And unfortunately, she had to go through that to learn whatever she had to learn, where I intuitively knew I'm not supposed to be really engaging with that part of the family anymore. They're not, like, I try to engage with them. I try to support them. I try to show them my gifts at those times through life, but it was almost ridiculed all the time. It was always shunned down or just, oh, that's weird. And then they kind of brush me off. And then next thing I know, they're gossiping behind my back. Sometimes it's just, you just know to just stay out of a situation.
So explore yourself and your intention. I always say, gift yourself time to explore your gift. A lot of people, they become aware, like, oh, I could do this, and they'll just jump into it. No, gift yourself time. Really get to know yourself. What is this for you? Is it meant for you to practice, or is it just meant for you? Not everyone uses their gifts, but they do it internally. They use it for themselves. What are your intentions presently and in the future with yourself and with others? That's really important to know your intentions, because, like, again, you don't want to just jump into it and then start doing all this gifting and then realizing that you're spreading yourself thin, and then you become ill, or you start taking in too much, and then that's it, you're done. It's like, no, you have to really, again, set that intention, those healthy boundaries. What is it that you want to do with this gift of yourself? And then take notes when you react naturally in your gift than when you try to force it. Notice the difference. Like my husband just said, he was trying to share his gift with his family and he was ridiculed. So was he really sharing, or was he trying to force it upon them? They weren't ready for it. So those are the questions I always ask myself when I get a reaction that I wasn't prepared for. Like, wow, I'm trying to do something good for them and they're not reacting. Is it really because I was trying to force it on them? Was I trying to force it? Is it something that was naturally meant to be given at that moment? Were they ready for it? So there's a lot of, again, gift yourself time. Even when you start working in your gift, even if that person tells you, oh, yes, 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 do what you do on me. But if they're not ready, even they're saying yes, 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 you really have to give that time to really gauge and see what the intentions are for you, what are their intentions, and what is the process you want to follow through. Do you want to just give the whole message or just give a partial message for them to be able to process it? So there's a lot of behind the scenes when it comes to your natural gifts. And then grow as a healer through practice. When you start practicing your gift, practice it with other healers that have experience. They have so much knowledge to kind of guide you and prepare you, like do this, make sure to do self-care, make sure to do breathing, make sure to take time for yourself. Don't spread yourself thin. They have wealth of information and knowledge. Receive sessions for yourself to experience what it feels true to you. A lot of people don't know what feels true. Like, oh, I want to do this, or and I want to do that, and I want to do that. It's like they're jumping all over the place because they want to try all these gifts. But no, what feels true to you? Take some sessions, experience it, and then really, really feel what feels true within you. Practice with those that will give you positive, constructive criticism. That's also really important. I have gained so much more. I've been able to evolve better because of that constructive criticism. Like, you know what, Rebecca, it's great that you're doing this, but you also need to think about this and this and this and that. And when they help me see that, it's like, oh, I didn't even think about that part. Okay, that's something I need to work on. So it's really good to have that positive, constructive criticism from someone knowledgeable and that will not sugarcoat anything for you. And then take courses. And I always say take courses on it, but also give yourself time, meditate on it. Is this really a course for me? Or is it just something that I could wait on and just focus on this first? Give yourself like a blueprint layout of what steps you want to take, what courses. And what feels true. And then continue to build on your spiritual connections. Daily breathing and meditation practices, self-care, healthy boundaries. That's a really important one. Practice interdependence. You don't want clients or anyone becoming codependent on you or you becoming codependent on your clients. Collaboration. Very important to collaborate with others and grow, again, continue evolving and growing in your gifts, embracing the healer within yourself. And with that, I want to hand it over to Teresa. Is that's okay?
Yeah, sounds great.
So here's all the information of Teresa. She sent me her new branding. I like it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So go ahead and explain a little bit of yourself, Teresa, and introduce yourself.
Yeah, definitely. Hello, everyone. My name is Teresa Ramirez Petroni. I am an energy and body worker. I am owner and operator of Rooted Holistic Bodywork. Hey, Patty, I'm seeing you in the chat. Yay, so good to see familiar faces. If you've tuned in on any of the past Healers Roundtable, Rebecca and JB have been awesome to ask me to come and speak with you all multiple times. I think this is my third time now. So owner and operator of Rooted Holistic Bodywork, which is my energy and bodywork business that I'm currently out of San Diego doing hands-on. And as a Reiki master practitioner, I'm sure many of us know, we're able to do that from a distance as well too. I did study my holistic health practitioner program in conjunction with the certified massage therapy, actually in Orange County, which is where I met Rebecca. and I studied at Healing Hand School of Holistic Health. So pretty much I'm hanging out and really grounding into our sacredness and mind-body connections with holistic healing services, and coming this summer, an educational platform called the Mind Body School, which is going to be a space for really spiritually curious and conscious humans, and from a space of ethical and inclusiveness.
Perfect. I'm going to go ahead and stop share so we could get you in the full screen. Oops.
Cool.
There we go. Perfect. JB, make sure she goes full screen.
Oh no, Rebecca's muted again.
I say go for it and share us your story, how you embrace the healer within you.
Okay, yeah, no big deal, right? Just the whole story, right? I'm a very talkative human. Hi, Gemini rising. I could talk for many, many hours. I'll try to keep it short and sweet. Embracing the healer within has not been an easy feat for me. My biggest story around what drew me to the holistic healing arts field, industry, whatever you'd like to call it, really started from a young age. And this is trigger warning. I apologize if this triggers you in any way. I appreciate you all holding space for me and my truth and being able to speak it with you. At the age of 3, I was sexually abused for, we don't really know how long, 10 months. So that really set into motion a couple of decades, honestly. I didn't really wake up to my spiritual self and my spiritual healing journey until I was 29 years old. So that really set into motion anxiety, depression. It set into motion a lot of those early roots, those seeds that we plant, right? Of the negative affirmations, not the positive ones, right? That's what we're working on in our adulthood, is to heal those seeds that don't work for us. So a lot of the negative affirmations I told myself was my body was not a safe place to be. I'm not good enough. At the age of 4, well, actually 2 to 3, my biological father was kicked out of the house due to alcohol addiction, which was when we became a single mom family for 5 kiddos. So for me, I internalized that he left and he wasn't in my life because I wasn't good enough. So that's one of the biggest things. All of the slides that JB and Rebecca put together, like, please know if our mindset is that deep seed of I'm not good enough, it's going to be really hard to show up as a holistic healing human that charges for services and like helps other humans heal when you have that in your mind. So really just hold your space for yourself on who you are in the healing world. It's been, I mean, hi, I'm like 5 years now. Oh my gosh, 5 years now out of school. And I've been deep in my rebranding process and hired a fancy web designer for my business, which has been awesome. And I took on the task of writing all of my copy, so my website copy. And I'll tell you, it's uncomfortable. Like when you are a kiddo, when you're someone who tells yourself you're not good enough, and you're constantly working on reframing that, and you have to show up and say, here's my gifts, here's what I do, it can feel really uncomfortable, but in a good way. So just really holding space for any humans that that's been the internal dialogue of enoughness and not feeling enough. But back to my story a bit. Sorry, I do a lot of tangents. Yeah, so that really set into motion a lot of discomfort, disjointedness in my body that manifested itself into severe anxiety, which I put a Band-Aid with once I learned that if you study a lot, you can get good grades, because I definitely struggled in school when I was a kiddo. So I threw myself into studying, and once I got my first A, it became that gratification. It became that, oh, wait a minute, everything in my world is chaos, but when I'm in school, if I do X, Y, Z and I get an A and people are happy with me, I can control that. So I actually became this crazy super A, straight A student that had to have the A's, had to always be busy. Again, it was that concept of busyness. And I can now look back on that in my healing journey. And unfortunately, my family, I feel like mental health wasn't talked about as much then. I know ADD was the big one in the 90s, and they were overdosing children on Ritalin. It was awful. My brother was a part of that, my little brother. But I feel like anxiety wasn't talked about as much. So unfortunately, I showed all of the signs, but my family, we didn't have the resources, the tools to help really identify and get me into what I really feel like, I think martial arts would have been really helpful for me at that time because I was working through, understandably, a lot of anger and rage internally and externally with what had happened and just my environment in general. So moving into college, I became this workaholic from a young age, was stress case over grades and being busy. Once I entered into college, continued that busyness, but then it was normal to get drunk with your friends on the weekend, right? And to do binge drinking. That was almost expected with the college experience. I didn't fully get into party lifestyle, I would say, until I was about 23, which was when I graduated college. I worked my way full time through college and was always the manager or supervisor. So always had to be tip top shape. But it was when I discovered house music and the house music scene and dance music and just this beautiful collective energy of acceptance. And you can be whoever you want to be on the dance floor. But then with that comes late night partying, just party lifestyle. And that was in the peak and core of my pain. That was really when I was like 23, 24. That was really when I started to feel almost 2 decades worth of just pain coming in. So I discovered the ability to party your way through it and to numb your way through it. So I would say that was most of my 20s, all the while graduating during a recession, going into the workforce like so many of us did, at that time, and just losing myself and working to pay bills and working to party. So it was really at the age of 29 when I was working in a startup industry, really fast paced. Also drinking industry. Oh my gosh, startup. I'm convinced the startup world was started by a bunch of college kiddos that were like, how do we keep the party going? Yay, startup culture where you can have kegs in the office and you have happy hour in the office. Like, did Mad Men, did the 50s and 60s teach us nothing? There's a reason why you don't drink in the office. I digress. So I was in San Francisco, and all at the same time, I'm slowly kind of spiritually waking because San Francisco, the counterculture hippie movement started there. It's still alive and real. The arts, I really came alive in so many ways. And that I feel so cheesy saying this, but it is what it is. When I really started to embrace my gifts was when I went to Burning Man. It's not just one big old party, I promise. One of my gifts is a gift-giving culture. OMG, the office parties were huge in the 80s at the studios. Girl, they are alive and real in the startup culture, I will tell you. Like, the startup culture has literally kegs in the office, like on kegs. You have like hard kombucha, you have beer. It's crazy. Anyway, they're bringing it back, Patty. But Burning Man is built on a beautiful collective community, everyone taking care of each other. It's a gifting economy. You don't take money. There's 10 principles that you live by for that. It's a living experiment. And in that, I was okay, what are one of my gifts that I want to take? I was like, oh, there's nothing better when you're in a dusty desert than having someone wipe down your back with a really nice wet wipe and give you a neck and shoulder massage because you're carrying your backpack, you're riding your bike everywhere, you're tired. So I did that because I was always the kiddo that my mom would say, hey, rub my back. So I was always that kiddo that would do that. And as I started doing that, I was, massaging, giving neck and shoulder massages because that's my love language is touch. Go figure, I'm a body worker. And they would turn around, they'd say, wow, are you like a professional massage therapist? That's so good. No, I'm not. Wow, thank you. So that kind of started to get the clogs going in the clock, I would say, around my hands and the power to heal. It was at 29 when everything just kind of blew up, I would say. So Saturn returned with me. I know. Thank you, astrology. But I was actually let go from my really fast-paced job because with party lifestyle comes more anxiety. I had a lot of responsibilities. I was like a senior operations account manager. I was working like 12-hour days. It was really not good for me. So I had a full-blown anxiety breakdown. At 29, I was let go because of it in the office. When you're at will, you just get let go. And that's where now, at 34, 5 years later, I can say the universe fired me from my life in a big way. So what really sparked the healing journey was that, and being in a bookstore with one of my girlfriends who was already very spiritual. She was Reiki attuned, and she said, hey, here's a book on chakras. You should read about it. I'm like, okay, fine. Let's see what these chakras are about. And I'll never forget, in my bedroom in the Oakland Hills, reading the first chapter on the Root Chakra. And when it was talking about the textbook imbalances and physical manifestations that can happen when the root chakra is out of balance, I checked off every box. I had every single one. And that was in that moment that I wouldn't even say a light bulb went on. It was like a lightning bolt flash of this deep understanding that my chakra system didn't have a chance from the get-go at 3 years of age, which is when your root chakra is being formed. It was violated and damaged, really setting off my entire chakra energy system. So it was really in that moment I cried. I had that one of those soul cries, and I realized, okay, there's an opportunity here. And at the same time, I was on an anxiety, I was on a medical leave because of my anxiety. And that was when my doctors wanted to put me on mood meds. They diagnosed me formally with anxiety and depression. I do have a mom who lives with bipolar disorder and has successfully maintained it with mood meds, but I did get to see the vicious roller coaster of finding the right medication. So for me, I knew I had an opportunity to go withinward. My family had invited me to move home at that time and to say, figure it out. You know, it's not working in San Francisco. That's fine. So at that point, I asked my doctors, can you give me a couple of months? Can you give me a couple of months? Let me go do all the research. Let me be the student of my healing and holistic healing. And that plea turned into me restarting my entire life in Southern California and entering into the body work and energy work world. So that's Teresa in a little nutshell. I'm very much an open book when it comes to that. As you can tell, I'm not ashamed of my journey and any of the things I did to numb myself from the pain. It's pretty painful to sit with your shit, which is why I'm very much over here with the Viva la Raza on shadow work. You know, I'm very grateful for the BLM uprising of last year and the ability to just put to rest this just light and love only, just light work only. Like, it's yin yang. Again, I will always praise Rebecca and JB for their logo, and they're embracing the duality consciousness of yin yang, as above, so below, you know, as within, so without. There is no such thing as being just a light worker. You have to be with your shadow as well too, in order to do that self-healing. So for me, embracing my gifts in the last 5 years has been hard. I've always been someone that, oh, no, not me. You know, I mean, to this day, I have some of my clients are like, can you like talk about yourself a little more, please? Like, you do all of these things for us. I'm like, okay. I don't know. That's just always been who I am. I'm very funny. I found from a young age to diffuse any situations, because I have 3 brothers and a Scorpio mother, that I'm like, okay, I can make jokes and everyone will be happy. So that was definitely one of my vibes I've rocked. So I tried my best to not take myself too seriously, because the inner healing path can be very serious at times. So I try to lighten it up. But one of the biggest things that's allowed me to feel into and discover my gift in the last 5 years, since I stepped into and then I hold holistic healing space for other humans, is one of my favorite quotes from one of my first class. I'll never forget my first class in my 1,000-hour program that felt like a gauntlet when I started it, because I only had 1 year to finish it, was my holistic nutrition teacher, who's also the herbalist teacher. She's very much an activist. She's an amazing human, Shana Lipner. She comes in, I want you all to know the only person you can heal in this life is yourself. And that really stayed with me, because up until that point, I had put so many of these other holistic humans, my holistic mentors, I put them on a pedestal. Oh my gosh, wow, who would I be without them? You know, but in that moment, when she said that, I'm like, oh, they're just self-healers too. And I'm a self-healer. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and own my healing journey. And that's been something that will carry me for the rest of my life. I consider myself a holistic healing facilitator. I consider myself a healing sacred space holder. Maybe on my deathbed, you know, I'll be like, yes, I was a healer. I am a healer. But that's still something, I think for me as a Mexicana, it's just such a sacred word. And until I really start to feel like I'm getting tapped into those Mexicana roots and I'm owning it, and I'm feeling like my Spanish is better. So that's my own journey. Just for that, we all get to claim our titles in this world. Hopefully they're not appropriating, and hopefully they're of the certifications you studied for, you know, like you and JB mentioned, you know. But that's been that's just been like my soul food. That's what nourishes me. That's what feeds me. Thanks, Patty. Is this concept of the only person you can heal in this life is yourself. And I love that you said self-healer facilitator. That's something you're claiming for a title within your business, because that is exactly how I feel about this work. it's a really interesting time right now to be alive and to be a conscious human in the holistic healing space. I think we're seeing a lot of good changes, I hope. It's hard, like the Instagram, social media, it's the wild, wild west. You can think someone is one way and then it's another. You can think, oh, wow, a $700 healing session, that must mean it's good. There's a lot of confusion, and all the while, so many humans that need the healing. And that's really what keeps me going. And that's what's allowed me to step out of my comfort zone and tell myself, Teresa, you're enough. Your studies are enough. Your work is enough. There are humans who are waiting, who need your healing abilities for you to be able to articulate what you do in the world and why you're good at it. So that's really that concept, but just this deep, deep desire for collective healing, to be of service to the collective, to be of service to my community. Like, that's what keeps me going. And that's what really has allowed me to embrace my gifts. And my gifts are, I am a Kapha Taurus, I hold really sacred space for people. I think I always say, give me the traumatized humans, give me trauma, give me it all. Give me the dark, the ugly, the nitty, the gritty, whatever society deems, like, give me that. Cause it's those humans that have been broken open for the capacity to love in all its dimensions. So I really am at an amazing place in my healing journey that I used to be mad at my guides. I used to be mad at God. I used to be mad at angels. Like, how could you do this to me at 3 years old? That wasn't fair. But now that I've graduated from the victim mindset to the empowered mindset, I know that I was chosen in this lifetime to help heal my lineage. I know I was chosen to be able to be of service to other humans. Because since day one, anytime I've met a girl, and when we talk woman, not what if that's something you identify with, I remember in college, I could just see, just from all of the behaviors, and I would whisper in their ear and be like, hey, whenever you're ready to talk about it, I was touched too. And they would just, oh, how did you know? And start crying and talk to me about it, And I'm a very, very big believer in, once you do step into the holistic healing world, because it can feel overwhelming when you get some pretty gnarly, overwhelming client healing sessions. We're only given the clients that we can handle. And it has been such a testament to the deep soul healing journey I challenged myself to do last year. And in the last 5 years, I have been getting a lot of clients with similar traumas to mine. I have been experiencing emotional releases on the table. And like Rebecca said, it's like, even in the moment when you don't, like, for instance, I had my first client who, I don't want to say seizing. I did some research. It's called tetany. Tetany is when the hands go kind of like almost like a lobster crab. Yeah, so it's called tetany. Everything kind of just goes like this. Your hand, you almost feel like you're having a seizure, but you're not. It can happen in breath work, especially deeper breath work when you're doing a lot of intense breathing. But I did have that happen on my table during one of my mind-body Reiki massages. And it honestly was the thing that inspired me to sign up for mastery. I was like, I felt so nervous, but I'm like, okay, Teresa, you got this. It's okay. Like, it was so wild. Like Rebecca said, in the moment, I knew exactly what to do. And I called my Reiki master after and said, holy crap, this happened. She's like, perfect. You did everything right. But yeah, if you want to master up, dope. Let's do that together. Yeah, it's wild. The more you get into it, the more modalities start to study, the more you get into your own healing process. Like Rebecca said, the more you just know, it just comes to you intuitively. But I just want everyone to know, like, it's not easy. It's not easy saying, these are my gifts and here's how I do it. Like, it takes time. It takes your own self-healing, prioritizing your own healing first. And there's days where I'm like, who the hell do I let? I'm launching a school this year. The amount of imposter syndrome, ego attacks, of like, who do you think you are? You're not even, you don't have this, it's just, it's tough. And that's where, when you're able to drop back into your body, drop back into your mission, your vision, your values, that's the biggest thing. I think before anyone launches themselves into, okay, I'm gonna be a holistic healing human, here I go, get clear on what your mission is. Get clear on who you are as a person, who you want to serve. The rest will come. All of the modalities you study, all of the courses you take, that will all be, like Rebecca said, do your research. That'll be your soundboard. If you know your mission. So for me, I hang out with spiritually curious and conscious humans. If you're not conscious or you don't want to know what conscious is, like cool, there's another healer for you, no problem, I'm not it. For me, conscious humans, they're the ones who want to breathe into their body. They're the ones who, when I'm doing a massage, hey, take a deep breath in. As you exhale, send that to your low back. Okay, cool, we just got your low back to release. It's that conscious mind-body exchange, yes? Because I've worked in the spa. I've done massages where, can I have more pressure? Can I have more pressure? Cool, I'm gonna break my body. So then you have to just do a shark elbow, right? Yeah, I know what you know I'm talking about, Rebecca. The pressure, what do I call them? The pressure bullies of being bullied into doing pressure you can't deliver as a practitioner.
Actually,
Yeah.
Teresa.
Yeah.
So my challenges even until recently, kind of almost meeting Rebecca, was I was so sensitive that I didn't recognize I was picking other people's desires to take a program, to do this training. And it led me to build up a really heavy, say, financial debt to capacity. What was your kind of journey to, like you said, you kind of briefly touched about what you want to serve, but how did you recognize your desires from picking up other people being sensitive? Like
Thank you. Thank you for that question. And it's actually that question that inspired me to launch the school, not just launch the Mind Body School. It's going to be a couple of different memberships, but to launch the practitioner membership. When you're a solo holistic healing human, everyone wants a piece of you. Like, it is wild, especially when someone can see, damn, they're good at what they do, and ooh, I can profit off of this. So my answer to you is I didn't. I got myself into a world of debt as well too. Was able to help start like digging myself out of it last year. But when I first launched the business, I went crazy with all of the marketing and just being at every event I could be at, because I was new in San Diego and didn't know anyone. And in that time, the amount of coaches that just glommed onto me and just wanted something from me and told me, you need to be this way. It's that scarcity, right? So I was living deep in scarcity, which when you're in a space of needing to pay your bills, understandably so. Like, please, any human that's here and is working to pay bills, and like, hi, I honor you, I witness you. I was afforded the opportunity last year to be able to take a step back from that scarcity and slow down. And now I'm in a nice flow zone, but I didn't, JB. That's a beautiful question. It gets really hard when you're in the holistic healing world. You know, you want to be able to support yourself. You want to have your mission, your values, but you also need to be able to pay your bills, to have a roof over your head, to have food in your belly. Yes, these are all valid needs. So it can get easy to, oh, wow, well, I met this coach and she's 6 figures in 6 months. And oh, there's this, it gets easy to get lost in the sauce and to let people take pieces from you. So I didn't. And luckily, I was able to get myself out of that contract after lots of painful back and forth exchanges. Their coaching program it was a group coaching program, and it took me to the brink of insanity. I had a full anxiety meltdown. I was in a yoga teacher training because I thought that's what I needed to be. Thank you, San Diego. That's fine. I was still in a scarcity place of like, well, I can only do so many massages, so I need to do yoga. It's hard. It's hard when you want so badly to help humans to heal and to not feel how you feel and to live the life that you had lived. It's hard. You can get lost in the sauce. So now, after a year of, being called non-essential, right? That was fun. And having to slow down and not be able to have hands-on, I was able to explore that space. And now, with the assistance of a business mentor who's a conscious business, I have rock solid. So anytime any humans come into my sphere, I do the research on them. I check their about pages. I make sure everything matches. And then I'll entertain working with them. But for me, it's that integration piece. I think what allowed me to stop being so hungry to take every course and to do everything, I had to stop and say, yes, Teresa, you're an amazing student. I can highlight, I can note take, like, it's crazy. My ability to take in information is nuts, but was I integrating it? So that is really this year for me. This year is a very foundational year for myself, my business of, okay, and then I'm not taking any more courses. I'm working with a business mentor. I'm getting crystal clear on who the hell I am, what I do in this world, who I help, and I'm creating my foundation. I'm creating my sustainable platform for myself to be that multi-dimensional human. Because I'm not just a body worker. I'm not just an energy worker. I want to be the human that practitioners get to hang out with and feel safe. It's hard when you're building businesses on your own and there's not people who can help you. Like, I know you guys know, being an independent contractor, my freaking school didn't talk about being an independent contractor and what that looks like, and that, hi, massage, naked body under sheets, let's be real, let's call it what it is, shit can go awry very quickly. And then as an independent contractor, you're liable. The word liability you don't hear. So really being able to fuse that ethics, fuse that concept of like, okay, awesome, you want to be a holistic healing human and you're charging people for money, cool. Where there's a human, there's a lawyer. Where there's a lawyer and there's a human, there's ability to sue. So just having those conversations of, if you are taking money from humans and you're delivering a service, you need to have yourself protected. There needs to be certain forms that get signed. There needs to be insurances. Like, those things don't get talked about, So I would say it was School of Hard Knocks for me. Like, it sounds like for you too, JB. And that's been a part of my healing journey, of like, hey, T, you don't have to. That's what I realized was, since I was a little kid, I was telling myself, oh, I have to learn my lessons the hard way. Because that's what my mom was saying. Yeah, the world is tough, and you learn your lessons the hard way. It is what it is. My mom still says that to this day. So really graduating and evolving from the space of, I don't have to learn my lessons the hard way. Like, okay, thanks 5 years of learning and School of Hard Knocks, how can I be of service to other holistic healing humans? So yeah, that's coming at the end of this year. And I really, really cannot wait for that membership. I'm really excited to be of service to other holistic healing humans and make sure they do not do the School of Hard Knocks I did in the last 5 years.
Definitely. It actually leads me to the next question. Like, there's many aspects as you go through, like you said, many trainings that you got to be open and flow, but don't have a desire or expectation. But then how is it on the flip side for you, where you know yourself, but still allowing flow without restriction but you're focused? That kind of, to me, it seems contradictory. So like, how's your learning experience to, I know who I am. Yes, I'm going to flow, but it doesn't have to deal with XYZ or any other type of clientele, like you mentioned a moment ago. If they're not open, like, yes.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So just to clarify the question, like, how do I honor my flow process while calling in clients? Sorry, if you wouldn't mind clarifying.
Like some people, many trainings, they say you got to be open to flow, don't have expectations, don't have a goal, just be open.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Knowing yourself, knowing your gifts, and calling in only those, like you said,
100, yeah. And that's what's tough, like last year shattered the veil over all of our eyes. And I will say it now and a million times, I am so forever grateful for the BLM uprising, because it gave us all the ability to take a step back and really start to look at those things. And there's a lot of old paradigm ways of doing business, which is hustle harder, grind harder, hustle, cold DM people, slide into DMs, and oh, I saw that, no, that's old paradigm. That was before 2020, RIP, hustle harder. Like, hi, who are you? What feels supportive for you in your business? BLM uprising, yes, has shifted. Patty, I'm loving all of these things. Thank you so much. But to acknowledge what you said, it's really that understanding of, yes, we need yin. We need yin in our lives. We need that flow. We need to create that nice channel. We need to have an idea of like, okay, who are the humans I do like to work with, right? Having that conversation with Source and God. But guess what? What's a channel? It is a conduit. It's an actual thing. And that actual thing's the yang. And that's the way you show up in your business of like, okay, cool. Let me create my email marketing. Let me create this Facebook page. Like, that's that yang side of your business. If you don't have structure within the business and how you learn and how you incorporate modalities and healing, then the yin is just yin. Then it's just one big flowy. And what do I do? Like, we need to create structure for when your ideal person lands on your website or on your Instagram page or your Facebook page. Cool. We've now created that's the yin, right? Woohoo, we did all of our work. We did our healing. We're calling in our humans. Like, yes, awesome. You're welcome here. I want you here. That yang is, okay, so I called that in. Now here's the channel. Here's the ways you can work with me. Here's my email. Here's our free Facebook thing we do. Here's my services. Like, that's yang. That's the yang side of your business and doing. But yeah, I think it took that School of Hard Knocks to see, because it was that one size fits all, 6 figures in 6 months bullshit, of and cold DMs, and then you have to do 50 of them every week, and you need to be doing this, and oh well, if you're not hustling, oh my goodness, it's old paradigm, and you get to do business the way you want to do it. Let's see, going from yang to yin and staying there, at the extreme of long and what is the appropriate time. All the need to do shoulda, woulda, coulda. Yeah. And that's the tough part too. Hi, you're talking to a Taurus. Like, I love being at home. I love being cozy. Figuring out this entrepreneur schedule, you know, making sure I have a certain schedule. Like it takes time. But I'm really big on working with the seasons. I really, really appreciate winter. It's a beautiful time to like, can you slow down in your business? And that's an amazing question to ask as a holistic healing human. Like, where are you at in your business? Where are you at in your needs versus your wants, right? Identify your needs. Hi, I need shelter. I need food. I need XYZ. And then the wants, right? That's the extra stuff. But if you can work with the seasons, which high spring, we're kind of slowly coming out, starting to get in that action, summer, fall, like, woohoo, balls to the wall. Maybe like for me, that's when I'm launching a lot of stuff. So I'm like, all right, summer energy, baby, let's do this. And then that winter is that time to kind of go back in again, right? So I really thank you, Patty, for that question and statement. I work with the seasons as far as seasonal energy goes. And now as a female, I'm starting to really feel into my menstrual cycle as well and working with the different phases too. So, you know, but I would say seasonal, cyclical working, but just knowing there's times where you're going to be yin and there's times where you're going to be yang, and just really appreciating both sides.
That was, when you said that you were right on, because I remember when JB and I started our business, he was like, yeah, we're ready to take on everybody and anybody. And I was like, no, no. I will only take on this type of client. And he was all like, but, and I'm like, no buts, you know, it's really, like you said, you really have to set that intention of what is it I'm doing, you know, and how am I doing this? And, you know, because I remember there were certain clients that he brought on where I was like, don't ever bring that person back. And I was like, what were you thinking?
Yeah. But when you're coming from a space of needing to pay your bills, like, man, you bet your girl was massaging every and any human I could in that time, because that's where I was at, you know. And again, how privileged I was to have qualified for the government assistance last year. And I know that that's a privilege. And I seek to do right by that money every single day. I show up for my business this year and show up for the collective in everything I do. Patty asked a great question. How do I serve women who no longer have a uterus? Thank you for that question, Patty. I serve them by, hi, you still have a pelvic bowl. We all have a pelvic bowl. You still have a root chakra. You still have a sacral chakra. That energy still very much lives there. And while the physical anatomical parts that would make up a uterus, yes, that doesn't take away from that pelvic bowl space. That doesn't take away from the magic of the root chakra, of the sacral chakra, and within the feminine body and existence, and what that can do for our creativity, our grounding, our sensuality, all of the things that come with those chakras. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Patty. You're so wonderful. I love all of your engagement. Thank you.
I know. And it's the same for me, you know, when with my sister, like I said, she had ovarian cancer and she was stage 3. And I remember when we were working on her, there was a lot of those hardcore questions where she felt guilty or shame for not using her uterus, for not using her reproductive system, because she was born a woman but did not desire to be a woman. She did not desire to have a husband and reproduce. It was her sexual preference was women. And so when she got the cancer, she felt that shame, that guilt, like maybe I was punished for not being a woman. And I remember we worked on that part with her, like, no, you made a choice that felt true for you. Honor that choice, you know, and don't feel that shame and guilt. You know, this is who you are. This is your true self. Honor that person, you know, and it took her several sessions to be able to make peace with that and realize, like, no, you're right. You know, I'm choosing what's true to me. This is who I am, you know, and there's no shame or guilt or she saw it like a way of punishment, you know.
Well, that was, I think, for me, like in the same vein of sexuality for me was so scary, you know, when all my friends, when it was starting to happen in high school and into your 20s, I was so scared. And for me, in my head, I thought I wasn't allowed to feel any of those things because of what had happened to me. Yeah, it's the pelvic bowl is a very sensitive place, you know, for both men, women, non-gender conforming humans. It's that root and sacral chakra, and it's where so much of our traumas are stored. Yes. But no, yeah, man, I'm glad to hear she healed. I'm hearing,
Yeah, no, and then
and I'm
like
hearing healed that too. I feel blessed that I don't carry that. You know, I'm very blessed in the sense that I grew up with my white side, and my mom's like, I don't care about kids, do what you want, you know, because I know very much it was the Mexican side. It would children, get married, you know. So for me, I made the decision a couple of years ago. I knew I didn't want to have children, and my husband's comfortable with that as well too, which is what allowed us to marry, because we had those conscious conversations prior to our union. But it's interesting because, you know, I have clients that are surprised because of the mothering space I hold for them, and but you'd be such a good mom, and I'm able to tell them, yes, but this is where I feel held. Like my work in the world allows me to feel like a mom, because I understand I create that nurturing womb-like space for my clients when they come in to heal and to be and to experience whatever their body needs them to experience. And for me, with my mental health, it's a full-time job, keeping this going for myself, my family, my community. So I feel very lucky in that I've never had that dialogue with myself, and that I feel okay to not have children.
Yeah. No, and it is like Patty said, it's our creative power source.
Correct. And that doesn't have to be just kiddos. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It is I find it like a very powerful energy source of creation. You know, even if you don't have a uterus, you still can create. That doesn't stop.
You have that root chakra, that sacral chakra. Yep.
Yeah, it's just like the analogy of someone losing their arm or leg. That doesn't stop them from still creating or still doing, or I see a lot of them doing marathons and running on a prosthetic leg. It doesn't stop you to create a new version of yourself. You know, you still can create. We have that's why we have 7 chakras. We have 7 different energy sources within ourselves to really create, from our third eye, from our crown, from our throat, from our heart, from our solar plexus, and from our sacral and our root. It's like we have a lot of sources. It's like what do you call this? The outlet with many plugs.
Yeah, the power adapter.
The power, yeah. We have our own power adapters.
Oh yeah.
Plug in here, plug in there. Okay, there we go.
I mean, and with that concept you're talking about, that's my same thing for spirituality. And just, I think this is a nice connection back to embracing the healer within. Is we're being told by social media what spiritual looks like, what to do. You have to wake up at 7 a.m. and you have to do this, you have to do that. Like, please just let go of all the noise. Like, to be spiritual, the only tools you need are your breath and your mind. Everything else is extra, you know. And that's where I always hold that space for my clients, because we live in a world of shoulding. We should all over us. Oh, I know I should be meditating. Oh, I know I need to, I should be stretching. I should, you know, like, no, just meet yourself where you're at. Do you have 5 minutes in the morning? Cool. Do that PE stretching we used to do with kiddos, you know. It doesn't have to be a fancy yoga flow. So it's that same concept of, even without the physical anatomy, you still have that root and sacral chakra. To be spiritual, to be a self-healer, all you need is your mind and your breath. Everything else is just extra fun stuff we get to work with, you know. And that's allowed me, because Taurus, I love gifting myself things. That's allowed me to really take a step back and do I really need another crystal? Do I really need another essential oil? Do I, you know, just, it's helped me with that lens to just remember, okay, all I need is my mind and my breath. Let me go ahead and do that.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, like what you said, I get that a lot from our clients. Like, I know I should be doing this. I know I should. And I said, no, you know, do what feels right for you.
Yep.
And so, but they're like, why, you know, I should be stretching. Well, if you feel like you should, start off, like, pay attention to your pets at home. your dog and your cat, what's the first thing they do when they get up?
Downward doggy. Yeah.
Stretch. And I go,
Yeah.
do they do like a long 30-minute stretch workout? No, they just stretch until they feel, okay, I'm good. I go, do the same thing when you wake up in bed. You don't have to get out of bed. You don't have to get out and do all this routine. Just stay in bed, grab your legs, stretch it out, raise your arms in bed, do the prayer pose or the baby pose in bed. You don't have to get out of bed and do this whole routine just to feel like you did stretch. It's like, it's as simple as what your dog and cat do every morning. It's that simple.
Yeah. No, and that's what's been fun about, and I'm so grateful for all the work I've been doing. And that's that, asking me about my healing process and how I've embraced the healer. Like, I have to say, this rebranding and having the web designer, it's been so healing. It's been such a healing process for me because of how intuitive the designer is and all the questions that are being asked, and me writing my copy, my website copy of like, okay, who am I? It's been such a healing exercise for me to like, oh my gosh, I just wrote that about myself. Like, who is she even? And for me, launching the school, all from a space of, because I've had humans like, you're launching 3 memberships, you're crazy. And I say, maybe I am, but here's why. Like, every step of the way, I've been the client, I've been the student, and I've been the student practitioner. And there's always been pieces of more, of wanting more, because I'm like this hungry student. I'm always curious for knowledge, give me more. And I'm blessed to have clients that are like that as well too. So that's really that concept behind the client membership of, okay, awesome, here's your homework in your app, here's all the cool things you can hang out with during the week, like let me know what you need help with, because I have clients that really want to take that healing off the table and into their everyday life. And I have clients who are like, oh, I want classes, do you have classes? I'm like, okay, coming. And then I've been blessed. I've had a couple new massage therapists that are like straight out of school last year, which like holding forever space for any student of massage that graduated and went to school during the pandemic. Like, wow, what a challenging experience. Yeah, and I've been able, they were able to email back and forth. One of them's like, I don't know what to do about a chair massage event. I'm like, oh sister, school of hard knocks. Like, okay, you need to advocate for breaks. You need to make sure you're near a restroom. Like, do you have shade? Are you going to be in the sun all day? Like, because again, I went and just like figured it out, But yeah, launching the school this year is turning into such a beautiful source of healing for me. And it's really embracing this enoughness, like my work with enoughness this year, and having to look the I am not enough in the face every day that I'm doing something new and different and scary of being an educator, it's been so healing. It's allowing me to settle into my enoughness. And I've had moments where I pull out all of my study materials and I'm like, Teresa, you are enough. You do get to be a student out loud and an educator, because the student I am today is not the student that my people that come into the school are at. And that's why they'll be hanging out with me, in the school. Let's see. We are spirit mamas and educators.
Yes, you are.
Oh, you are enough. Thank you, Patty. I had a really powerful healing session with another energy healer, which, yes, that's a big thing for any humans hanging out in this group. Invest in your healing with other people, like other healers. Find out different modalities. Like, hi, the moment I'm in Orange County, I'm booking JB and Rebecca. I'm planning to make a trip very soon. But yeah, and if you can't afford it, do it from a space of not exchanging. Like, I've been queen of just not paying for things and exchanging, which can feel tiring and sometimes can take away from the experience of like, oh, but I still have to massage them tomorrow, I now am able to afford acupuncture and massage every month for myself and not pay for it, which is nice. So, I mean, not pay for it, to pay for it and not exchange. Apologies. 11:11. Yes, they are.
No, and I just wanted to say, when you said, oh, I can't say I am a healer, and it's like, it's true. It takes a while to acknowledge that. But I remember the time that I was able to say it, it's like I really did that, almost like a repetitive near-death experience where I just analyzed my life. I saw my whole life before me, my near-death experience, what I had gone through, my traumas, my health.
That'll do it. Yeah.
And when I say I am a healer, I'm not talking about what I do onto others, is what all the work I did for myself. So now that I could say that, I'm not saying it as a way of boasting what I've done for others.
Like, I'm an intuitive healer. Yeah, totally.
It's what I've done for myself. It's like I look at my history and I'm like, wow, I've done a lot of healing. I am a healer because of that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, I love that. And I think for me, I could see me being more comfortable to say healer. I really am diving into my lineage. I truly, truly feel my Mexican ancestry like living through me anytime I connect and do body and energy work. So for me, I'm going to be diving into my lineage more. I'm going to do like the 23andMe. I want to know where in Mexico I come from. That's been a deep part of my healing. From my mom, who was my white side, everything that was bad that happened in our family was attached to the Mexican side. So I was denied my Mexican roots and my Mexican side. Like to this day, I'm not called Teresa, I'm called Terry, which was the name she wanted to name me. So that's been a really big part of my healing journey, I would say, is reclaiming my Mexican self. And yeah, I'm really excited. I could see me the day I step like mis pies en la tierra de Mexico, like the moment those feet are on that line, be like, hola, soy healer, sí, you know?
No, and I totally get it. We've been doing that too. It's like an interesting, what you just brought up. We just took a couple of weeks ago our ancestry.com DNA.
Oh, okay.
So we're waiting results. But meanwhile, I've been working on a family tree through them. And I was just blown away that I was through my paternal grandmother.
Yeah.
I was able to get up to my 5th grandparents. And I was able to find all this history of that lineage.
So beautiful.
From. And it's just been such a, like you said, it's another healing experience. Like seeing this history before you just being played out, how so-and-so met this person and then they created and created and created. And that's where my grandmother came, and then my father, and then myself. Pura mama mexicana con amor. Yeah. So and then also with my mom's side, all of a sudden being stuck at one part. And it was interesting to find out that the reason why I'm stuck is because my great grandmother was an orphan. So trying to get information from her lineage has been hard. So I'm really hoping to get the results of the DNA to see if that opens up more of the lineage. Where am I from? What's the percentages? To kind of get more of that history.
Because
where do I come from?
Exactly. And that's where, like, because I hang out in like ethical and inclusive spaces. And right now we have a huge area of opportunity within the holistic healing arts community of acknowledging what culture tools are you working with? Did they give you permission to work with those tools? How can you honor that culture? Hi, India's in crisis. I've been in deep communication with the yoga community, encouraging and calling them in to prioritize their content feed to post about India, right? So there's that deep opportunity of when you do your lineage work, okay, cool, I come from Mexico. Well, awesome. What are indigenous spiritual practices? Oh, they work with Gopal. Awesome. Maybe, and I've been talking with native people and they don't like that I'm necessarily using white sage. Okay, that's good. Like, it's asking those questions. And that's where I'm really big with any spiritual humans I hang out with, of please know spirituality is your mind and your breath and your connection. Like, everything else is extra. It's so interesting to see Americans or just any humans so attached to like, well, this is what I need to have to be spiritual. Let's see. Are you familiar with Las Brujas of Brooklyn on IG? No, I'll have to hang out. I love decolonizing therapy. I love Dr. Rosales Mesa. She's amazing in the decolonizing world. I'll check them out for sure. Thank you. But that's one of the things that's really driving me for my lineage, is so that way, am I practicing spiritual practices and using spiritual tools that are authentic to my indigenous roots? And So that's, yeah, and that's all coming from a space of like, I was buying Palo Santo, like, well, it's okay. And then when I started to read and research, like, oh, that tree's going in danger because of capitalism and because we're taking too much from that tree. Like, oh, wait, they don't even necessarily like that. We like, just asking those questions, you know? So really getting curious and being okay with the discomfort that comes with that, you know? Like, I invited some local yoga humans here in San Diego, and they did not like the conversation I was having with them, you know? But that's okay. Just really settling into the discomfort and being able to ask yourself, like, am I honoring the cultures that these are coming from? And how can I do my work to heal my lineage and research my lineage and practice things that are authentic and indigenous to my lineage? So that's kind of a diatribe, but to be honest, I know it's within the same concept of embracing the healer and where I'm at in my healing journey. And that's where I'm at in my healing journey, is coming to terms with my privilege, the ways I've appropriated, and the ways I've caused harm in those communities, and doing right by that.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. I'm looking at the time. I want to make sure that we end right on time. But yes, thank you for taking this time to share all this wealth of information and knowledge that you have acquired. I know when we first met, we shared so much for a short moment, and because we were not together that long, we just worked for a short period of time. But that short period of time, you made such an impact to me. Like, here's another conscious healer like myself. Like, I really gravitated to you, and I've always made sure to keep in touch on one way or another. So when I formed the Healers Roundtable, of course, you came to my mind right away, because it was like, she understands what we're
saved each other at that Massage Envy. I'm telling you, that Massage Envy in Irvine, man, that was a little toxic vortex. So like the moment you came to work there, I was like, oh, yes, someone who's like close to my age and isn't like an 18-year-old having a meltdown at the front desk. And your smile every time you would come in. I looked forward to every shift you worked, and you would bring, and oh no, that was another person that would bring stones, but you would come in and check on me, and I would get to go back and talk to you. Like, from the get-go, there was that hermanita connection and that deep understanding of like, yeah, this is kind of a McDonald's vibe going on here, of healing, but that's cool. Like, we can be different humans doing different things. But I still can't believe that the Healers Roundtable came to you through one of your channeled messages. Like, when you told me how this whole thing came to be last year, like, that is divine. Proud of you.
Thank you. Any questions, Patty?
Questions. I just want to say thank you so much for coming on, Teresa, Terry.
No, Teresa, me encanta Teresa, sí.
And Rebecca and JB for always holding these amazing sessions. This was a really good, I feel like it was a gateway. It was an affirmation to the shift that has already taken place. Now you get to be it, as opposed to, oh, I'm going to get there, I'm going to do it. No, you're in it right now.
Yeah.
Step through the gate and you're doing it all. And the main thing is, again, being it in all that doing. So anyway, it's powerful. Thank you again for meeting you again, I should say.
Yes, Patty. And thank you for all the information that you just shared. I'll check out the symposium. Thank you.
Yes. Perfect. So we're just gonna go ahead and end this session, and I always like to say, please join us tomorrow if you have time. Also, Teresa, because I know you have a lot going on, but if you could just join in and listen to, the other guest speakers and just hear their story and just see a final way to collaborate. Like, how can we collaborate for your school? I am like so looking forward to your school.
You already know you're on my list. You're on my list. You're on my list. I cannot wait.
So excited. Yes, perfect. Thank you everyone for joining in. And we will We will be back tomorrow at 10 a.m. with our next guest speaker, which is CC Converse. And on Thursday, it's going to be Vanessa. And so make sure to join in and listen to their story and see if there's anything from their story that's going to help you out in your journey at embracing the healer within you.
And thank you everyone for holding that space for me. I know my story is not easy to hear at times, but it's honest, and that's where the work is, Love you guys. Thank you.
Yeah, I wanted to share your information one more time. There we go. There's
Oh yes,
Teresa's information.
I'm always terrible at that.
I know, I always want to make sure to share this
Thank
information
you.
one more time. If you want to get a hold of Teresa, her contact, there's her email, which is rhb@rhbodywork.com. Her cell phone number is there. This will be also posted on our homepage. I believe it's all posted on our homepage already.
It is. Yeah, I saw it. Thanks.
Yeah, it's on our homepage already, but I'll make sure to also place this, since this is your new branding. I want to honor that and
Thank
beautiful
you.
artwork that you've had done for you and this beautiful
Thank you.
picture of you.
Thank you. I know that was healing in itself to do that photo shoot and be the CEO, healer, human of my business. That photo shoot, that was like the gamut of emotions, you know, that enoughness, really, because I was already exploring the enoughness that whole week. So it was amazing to execute that. Thank you so much.
Perfect.
All right, wonderful human.
This time. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. See you
Happy
soon.
healing. Bye.